As a mom, one of the hardest things you ever have to witness probably is seeing your baby be sick for the first time. Especially, my girl is a toddler now, so she can't really explain how she feels or what she wants or needs. So there's like, yeah, that language barrier, which is so painful to see. So yeah, my baby girl finally got sick. I say finally because I like to reward myself and for keeping her healthy for so long. Like, she's 16 months now, and she managed to go, yeah, her whole lifetime without getting sick. I guess if you don't count when I was pregnant with her and her and I got COVID, that was not fun for me, especially. So if you don't count that, this is her first time getting sick. I guess the story is a week before my artist residency, which I did a whole video about that. I made a whole painting for it and everything, and so you can go check that out if you want. A whole week before the reception, the art reception, which was a big deal for me, a big day for me, I got sick with a cold, basically. And for me, the symptoms were very like crazy. It was mostly just like, oh, I got a headache one day, my nose ran, I had a runny nose for maybe 2 days, and then I was basically like feeling better by the fourth day. And the same thing had happened I didn't take it very seriously. That's on me, I guess, but I didn't take it very seriously because last summer, when Marceline was maybe like 7 or 8 months old, the same thing happened then where, yeah, I had a runny nose for a couple days and nobody got sick. I don't even think Christian got sick, and Marceline definitely didn't get sick. I think looking back, it's because I was still breastfeeding her, which, I mean, go on me, but I think because I was sick and breastfeeding her, the breast milk helped her not get sick, which is amazing, but it was not amazing this time around. So I didn't take it very seriously. I'm trying not to beat myself up about it because she's my baby. So if I got sick and it was a cold like contagious as this, then there was been no way I was going to not get her sick because she's my baby. I'm a stay-at-home mom. Like, where was she gonna go? Was I going to separate myself from her for 4 or 5 days? No, obviously not, just because like I had a runny nose and I had to take some pain medicine to deal with the headache. So of course she was gonna get sick. It was basically out of my system by the opening for the artist reception. You could probably see in the vlog that I seem fine. But if you pay attention to how Marceline's doing in the vlog, you can tell that she's like a little lethargic. She's like not fully there. She wasn't unhappy or mad or, toddlers, and how they can have like their mood swings and stuff. So I thought she was just very sleepy, that maybe her body was fighting, what I caught, but it already came and went through me. So I was like, oh, surely it would have happened to her by then. Nothing. She was just kind of like lethargic, and she wasn't like upset. Like, oh my gosh. It feels ridiculous explaining it now, knowing like how bad she got. After the artist reception, the next day was just awful. Just hell on earth, I like to think. She got up a million times throughout the night, and Christian was feeling sick by this point as well. Yeah, she was just crying, just like the saddest cry, like every hour or so, and I had to relax her back to sleep, but she was like still trying to sleep. So it wasn't like the kind of crying when they're smaller and they're like awake, and you gotta change their diaper and feed them and stuff. It was like different. It was like she was crying like she was trying to sleep, but her head hurt and her nose was runny, so she couldn't breathe. It was like that kind of thing. If you ever gotten sick and your nose runs and you can't sleep because of how you breathe. So there was like really nothing I could do. And so I even remember specifically thinking that night, Friday night, that I was like, this feels like torture. Like, surely to her, but to me as well, because it was every hour. And so every hour you can't sleep. I could not close my eyes and sleep because she was like constantly just like letting out cries, like the saddest cries, and there's nothing I could do about it. And it didn't even help that I came back from the artist reception like rather late by the time that I finally ate something, because I didn't eat like the whole day, and went to bed. It was like right when like all that chaos started. And then so I think by 4 a.m. Christian and I we're awake, and she's like constantly trying to go back to sleep. And I was like, I think we have to wake her up and give her some pain meds, like maybe a bottle of milk, so that, you know, it doesn't hurt her stomach. Oh my gosh. And so by Saturday, I was so tired because Christian's sick on the couch, and I'm constantly, you know, helping Marceline go back to sleep. And so I got no sleep. So by Saturday morning, well, usually in this case, because I think Christian knew he couldn't go to work, so he already called out. I went to him and I was like, when do you think I can nap today? Because he's sick, so I have to take care of him, and the baby is sick, and I am exhausted from being up with the baby all night. I didn't want to call reinforcements, like Christian's mom, and it's Saturday, so she's off of work, or my parents, because I didn't want to get them sick. Like, Renee has her whole life, you know, my mother-in-law, Renee, has her whole life that she has to do. I would feel really bad if I were to get her sick, and my parents, you know, they're like, if they were to get sick, you know, they're already a little bit older. I would hate to do that to them too. I didn't know. I was like struggling to ask for help from somebody, because everyone here in the apartment was sick, and I was supposed to be the well one taking care of everybody, but I was like exhausted, like so tired. Usually in the morning, even if I don't get that much sleep, I could just like bounce up and just like power through it, you know. As a mom, you just have to like power through it some days, and you know that I'm like, okay, I can have coffee, I can take a nap when she takes a nap, you know, I can do these things. But that day I just could not. And so Christian told me, he's like, I don't know when you can nap again, because Christian couldn't take care of her himself because he's sick and like feeling awful as well. So I just burst into tears. I called my mom. That's what you do, right? That's what you do when you're exhausted and you're at your limit. You just call your mom. And so I did call my mom, and I told her the whole situation, and I was just like, I'm just so exhausted. I am just so tired because I couldn't sleep at all, and I need help. I told her, I was like, I just need help for someone to watch her so that I could take a nap, and like just like 2 hours, maybe like just like a two maybe 3 hour nap, and then I think I'll have enough energy to take care of her. And Christian, he already knew his mom could help, and so immediately he texts his mom. He's like, or we texted, I can't remember what happened. She's like, I'm on my way. Like just like no questions asked. Renee was just like, I'm coming. Like, you're like, she's like, I need to get ready, because she wasn't ready to come over that day. It was Saturday, and she's like, okay, I'm doing it. So the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, Renee did come and basically spend the entire day here with us, helping with the baby. We definitely could have used it, because like Christian wasn't feeling well. I was fine, but I can only do so much. And I'm so glad that she was here to help, because like, oh my gosh, just Marceline being sick was just the worst. And like, oh, at the beginning, how zoned out she was. Like, she was even there. Like, that wasn't Marceline, that wasn't my baby. I mean, you guys have seen her at her best, you know. I put all these happy moments in these vlogs, I really do, and that baby was not there. So I don't have any footage of her being sick like that, because I just couldn't do it. I would have felt like the worst mother in the world to vlog when my baby was at her absolute lowest. And I knew it. I knew she was sick, so like I knew why she was feeling awful this way. And yeah, it was, she would not eat. If anything, we could get her to have some shredded cheese, you know, which, you know, makes me feel like a terrible mom. Like, all she ate today was whole milk and shredded cheese. That was it. We couldn't get her to eat anything else. She didn't even want to sit in the high chair to sit and eat a meal. She just absolutely not. She, like, Renee held her for a lot of the time, and then sometimes she would be sitting on the couch just completely zoned out. And gosh, why am I getting choked up? Oh, I'm trying. I thought it was enough time that I could get past this. Yeah, and Christian he was very sad to see his baby girl like that. Why? Oh gosh. So seeing my husband be so sad about our baby girl being so upset, it was just like, oh my gosh, this is the worst. And he knew he had to go back to work because he already called out 2 days of work, and the way that his job works because of rules and stuff, if he calls out of work sick for more than 2 days, then he needs a doctor's note. And so we knew it was just a cold and stuff, but also we could have used him here to help anyway. But no, we were like, this is not that big of a deal that he needs to like go to urgent care or somewhere to get like a doctor's note. So he had to go back to work, and that was literally when Marceline was like at her worst. So he felt so bad. Oh gosh, it was just like a snowball of stuff. With Renee here, that was just enough help that we needed, and my parents agreed to help see her when, you know, Renee could not. So by the time Marceline was a lot better, so I can gladly send her off with my parents, you know, she would be okay. Oh, and I didn't say this, but before all the symptoms set in, she did wake up from a nap with a fever. Like, I just felt her and she felt really hot, and so I checked her temperature with one of those like forehead thermometer thingies, and it said that she did have a fever, like I think like a little over 100 degrees or something. So I called to schedule an appointment with her pediatrician, but I couldn't see her pediatrician, but I could get a different doctor in the office for the following day, like late morning, so Friday. But then she woke up Friday, like more or less fine, and the thermometer thing said no fever. So they said if she didn't have a fever anymore, to just like cancel the appointment, because I think seeing the doctor is really just for big, you know, fever things. So I think this was just like a cold that gave her like a fever for a hot second. But I did have a doctor's appointment. I looking back, I wish I just took her anyway. But if she still didn't have a fever and we took her to the doctor's appointment and she was just like kind of sickly but no fever, what are they gonna do? Like, they're just gonna just poo-poo us, send us home, and then would have like a copay. So it's like, I don't know, we might still have a copay because I made an appointment. I have no idea. Like, after the first bad day, like Saturday, she definitely did not have a fever anymore. She like definitely cooled down, and like her symptoms like reduced after that. But yeah, for a hot second, I was like, okay, I think she has some mild fever. Are we gonna have to take her to the hospital? Like, what? I don't even know. Like how did this like go from like a false alarm, you know, took her to the artist reception, and then it just turned into, you know, this is like the worst I've ever seen her. It happened so fast. So yeah, so it's been a couple days now, and I do think Renee is getting sick. I mean, she knows she's getting too. She's a grown woman, but I do feel a little bad that we needed the help. Well, now we have this first sickness under our belt, and hopefully next time her and Christian don't get sick at the same time. Otherwise, it'll be the same thing, back at it again. But yeah, I think a lot of the things that did help were, well, pain meds. We did give her pain meds every once in a while, the infant kind, don't worry. And a bath, like we gave her like 2 baths a day to, you know, help open her up, because like when I don't feel sick and I can't breathe, a bath feels so amazing, especially like one in the morning, because like you struggle, you probably get really hot overnight. So after her bath, like a morning bath, just like a little rinse, just like to have her sit and soak, she did seem to be a lot better. Yeah, giving her plenty of milk and like a cheese. She would just sit on our lap, and like we watched a lot of Bluey. We really did. And it was like the one thing that got her happy, and like that's what really choked up Christian, was that every time the theme song would come on, it was like the one time it like it felt like Marceline was back. It was just like the little thing, you know, it's just a little do 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 do, and then it goes mom, you know, and then do 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 dad, and all the different characters. And so whenever it did that, she was like, mom, you know, just like barely there. So we did watch a lot of Bluey. When your child is that sick, yeah, you'll give them the screen time or whatever. Make sure she was nice and cool when she was like really warm and feverish, and she just wanted to be held a whole bunch. And of course we had to wipe her nose a whole bunch, which is like so gross, you know, wiping your little baby's nose when they got the boogers. Yeah, classic toddler stuff. So yeah, I don't even know if I could give any advice other than everything that I've said and how we handled it. It's just everything happened so fast, and she did recover fairly fast. Like, I thought that day 2 of the sickness was gonna be the worst day, but she did turn around rather quickly. I don't know if that's anything to do with her immune system or just like the type of cold or sickness that she got. Just wanted to talk about it. Oh, I just on the breastfeeding video, when I talked about, you know, I breastfed my baby for 12 months and she never got sick. I mean, that's still true. She never got sick. And then here we are at 16 months, finally got her first sickness in the middle of March as well. So we missed like the flu times during the winter. Well, it's a little cold out like at the moment here in Arizona, but hey, we missed like flu season, and then we got like the spring allergies, and then everybody gets sick. And I got sick too. So, I mean, I'm trying not to beat myself about it because I got it first, but at least I was able to recover enough to take care of her and my husband. But no, everybody's feeling a lot better now. That's why I'm making this video, but it was something that we had to go through, and I would not wish it upon my worst enemy. Like, it was probably the worst thing I've had to go through as a mom. It was probably this, I think so. Well, there was like one hot second where we thought she was gonna be hard of hearing, like she had hearing loss. Did I ever talk about that? I don't think I ever have. Oh, well, that's another video. So you better subscribe to hear that story, how I thought my baby had hearing loss. Okay, all right, that's not something I should joke about at all. But I gotta laugh because we've had a really tough week. Thank you so much for sticking around and watching this whole thing. You must really care about me if you sat here and listened to me talk about my baby getting sick for ages. So thank you for that. Yeah, but and with that, I'll see you next time.